I would like to ask Wole Soyinka and other people, what is this thing about Obi? That means there's something, a goal you people see in this Obi. Because this man did not win elections. And after not winning elections, he's gone about conducting himself, doing his charity, but he's still the main point of conversation.
It is saddening to see that we've descended to such a level in Nigeria where the only thing we can use as an attack is the where you come from, where you are, your heritage, and that's why we talk about this whole unity in diversity. So I would expect that he should be promoting the unity of the Nigerian people, and that's why I'm glad that he spoke about the Nnamdi Kanu issue.
Yes,
I thought that brought some balance to that.
Yeah.
So the Obidients, let me not lie, this Obidient movement, even though it's couched under the name, calling from Mr. Peter Obi, are young Nigerians who are tired of the way Nigeria is. And so they've come out very strongly to speak against it. And to be honest, for a number of them, they saw something different in Mr. Peter Obi, a new hope, a deviation from the normal. And that's why a lot of people were willing and able to stake their lives, in quote, to support him. So it's not because he forced people or he's acting. In fact, if I would say anything, Mr. Peter Obi has conducted himself very well in the course of this and condemned actions in certain times when it came down to it. So I do believe that he should be fair and should be more in support of promoting
the idea really is that the Obidients are just young Nigerians that are looking for a new wave of good governance. So they are not just supporters of Peter Obi. They really are supporters of Nigeria, wanting good governors.
I have come to realize that the greatest mistake all these people in Nigeria, the opposition, the so-called political elite, and those people who are opposing Peter Obi's ambition and ideology is that they thought or they believe that obedience movement is all about Peter Obi. If Peter Obi was campaigning for president when NSAS was happening, they could have said it was Peter Obi that mobilized people to go and do NSAS. They could have used that to rubbish his name. But these people, for you to know that education is not wisdom, these people don't have wisdom. They're supposed to understand that how much Peter Obi is giving to all these people. Peter Obi is not funding any movement. Peter Obi is not funding obedient movement. So they're supposed to understand that these obedient movement, these young guys are the people who are tired of us. We are tired of you people. We are tired of the kind of leadership because we have gone far. We have seen around the world how democracy is supposed to be practiced and how politicians are supposed to deliver the dividends of democracy to their people. But in the case of Nigeria, it is nothing to talk about. And when you see a such respected leader like Wole Soyinka that people used to respect before, I read one of his books while growing up, coming out to talk trash, because as far as I'm concerned, what he said was a trash. Because we have a reason why we are angry with Nigeria. And our reason is justified. There is no one that will be there opening his eye. We are seeing our ministers lavishing our resources, borrowing our future, doing all sorts of things. We are the one funding Tinubu, funding minister. It is our money. We gave them, can we do everything? They will still steal our money. Their children will not attend secondary school and government institution because they know that it is not suitable for ordinary humans. So it is made for the poor. So amidst all these things, we should keep quiet, right? Wole Soyinka, I think you people are messing up with the wrong generation. And every politician who thinks that as usual you can do anything and go away with it, like what Umahi just did and lied to us about Landmark and Coastal Highway in Lagos, he's not going to receive his reward in heaven but on earth. After receiving the reward, your children will receive the reward, your children will receive the reward. People are dying every day, people are being kidnapped every day. You people are there in Abuja talking trash and doing as if you people are something else. It is the same blood that flows in our vein and in our body. You people don't even know what you are doing. Anyway, let's listen to the analysis of the Arise crew about what Professor Wole Soyinka said, and why we'll come back to talk about the dangers of all these old folks in Nigeria.
Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka has yet again questioned the leadership potential of Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, stating in a recent interview that he's unfit to govern Nigeria. Soyinka cited the conduct of his supporters, known as the Obidients, during the 2023 election campaign as a disqualifying factor. Let's take a look.
I hope for the sake of the nation that he doesn't express interest in the next election. Because for me as a leader, if there was any proof that he was unfit to lead that country, it's in the conduct which he encouraged among his followers. I know for a fact, and I can give you an instance which proved that he was in control of those forces. Simply because when he first came to visit me, I remember the moment when he took out his computers, something, and after he made a statement like, "Oh, don't worry, everything, will be taken care of. You don't have anything to worry about these people." He was talking about the quote-unquote obedience. I remember he took out his computer, his phone, and he tapped, a message, there, and it showed me. I was watching him very closely, and he said, and after that, everything seemed to be, to be nice and cozy.
All right. Professor Wole Soyinka, Nobel laureate. The last time he called Peter Obi Bajue. Remember that? Well, all right, Reactions will definitely trail this. Let us take this tweet from Distinguished, who wrote, "This was Soyinka in 2024. After almost 8 months of Tinubu, I don't criticize heads of state till after a year. So he went to Aso Rock to give Tinubu 7 points agenda. But he can criticize Peter Obi, who isn't in Aso Rock. These are the elders we should respect." Daniel Rega wrote, "Wole Soyinka is entitled to his opinion about Peter Obi and the Labour Party. But I'm yet to see him criticize the present government or those currently in power, which speaks volumes for someone who's highly respected. His bias is glaring for all to see. With his voice, he can help start serious conversations." I mean, yes, that is true. He with his voice, definitely can start serious conversations. But that's not the only thing, Wole Soyinka talked about during that interview. He also talked about the fact that Nnamdi Kanu is, has a right to, agitate for a separate nation. For all he knows, he did not bomb anywhere. So, he also talked about that. But that's the type of conversations that we are expected to hear from a leader like Wole Soyinka.
One thing has to be said. I'd like to ask Wole Soyinka and other people, what is this thing about Obi? That means there's something, a goal you people see in this Obi. Because this man did not win elections. And after not winning elections, he's gone about conducting himself, doing his charity, but he's still the main point of conversation. Mm-hmm. So kini gan pa Obi yìí?
What does that mean?
Kini ní pàtó nípa Obi yìí? Because this man, he came to visit you. Afterwards, we all know how the visit went into a big hullabaloo. I don't want to talk more about that visit because I was very privy to a lot of things that happened in that visit, and I don't want to talk, for the sake of privacy. But afterwards, he went that way, and you keep indicting him as regards to the conduct of Obidients, which are young people that have a right to react. What about the people that, did ethnic strife? What about the people that carried Oro in elections in Lagos? Professor Wole Soyinka has not said anything about that. What about people that were beaten? Professor Wole Soyinka has not said anything about. What about people in Ikota that were beaten? All of a sudden, Oro came out because of election. He's not said anything about that. But this thing is always about constantly Obi. And when we ask him to comment about the current president, I don't comment after 1 year. Now it's 1 year, now he should comment. He will not still comment. So what is this thing really? Kini ọ̀rọ̀ Obi yìí ní pàtó? I'm asking, the same man you went a couple of months, you went to call them Bajue and all sorts of,
yeah.
And you think people will not, and when they react to him now,
don't forget that.
You call them fascists and things like that. And this was an election that you only had one side of the story, you were not full privy to.
Yes, but
and there are many things that you should know because Professor Wole is 90 already.
Yeah.
But we will not stop respecting him for the role he plays. I dove my heart for him because when it was time to stand tall, he stood tall in this country, and I think we have a lot of respect for him, but there are some things we say that would disagree.
Yeah.
We can respect you, I disagree with you.
Yes.
So I disagree with him on this.
Yes, I actually, liked those tweets because, May 29, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 1 year in office. I'd love to hear from him as well regarding, we can't wait. May 29th is coming. We hope that he says something about this current administration because it would definitely speak volumes, especially given the fact that he's constantly criticizing the strong opposition.
I'm one to lean towards Rufai saying, what did Peter Obi do? Because remember, he didn't even come second according to INEC.
Yeah.
He came third. So what to do about the fact that just? But let me say that Professor Wole Soyinka is a well-respected elder statesman. His contributions to Nigeria, not just locally, internationally, putting Nigeria on the global map with his writings and other things, is one to be certainly celebrated. However, I think in fairness, in him being fair as an elder statesman, it would be good for him to speak in a way that is objective and across board. Professor Wole Soyinka is from Ogun State, the southwest part of Nigeria. And this is the southwest part of Nigeria, particularly in Lagos State, where we saw an election that was driven largely by, to a very large extent, let me not say largely, but significantly by ethnic slurs and ethnic divisions. And I didn't see him come out to condemn those things in very strong terms, because he ought to be proud of his own heritage, being a Yoruba man himself, and to say, no, we're not going to stand for that. Nigeria cannot survive being divided. Oji, we saw on TV where someone came and talked about Yachukudi. And talked about the fact that, they were going to, if people were told not to come and vote if they looked a certain type of way. I would have expected him to also use the same energy to speak about that. We see vitriol online, not just from the Obidients he talks about, but also people who come out to say that, even
people in government.
Just check on YouTube.
They called me Omuale Yoruba.
Just check on YouTube, the comments. It is saddening to see that we've descended to such a level in Nigeria where the only thing we can use as an attack is the way you come from, where you are, your heritage, and that's why we talk about this whole unity in diversity. So I would expect that he should be promoting the unity of the Nigerian people, and that's why I'm glad that he spoke about the Nnamdi Kanu issue. I thought that brought some balance to that.
Yeah.
So the Obidients, let me not lie, this Obidient movement, even though it's couched under the name, calling for Mr. Peter Obi, are young Nigerians who are tired of the way Nigeria is, and so they've come out very strongly to speak against it. And to be honest, for a number of them, they saw something different in Mr. Peter Obi, a new hope, a deviation from the normal, and that's why a lot of people were willing and able to stake their lives, in quote, to support him. So it's not because he forced people or he's acting. In fact, if I would say anything, Mr. Peter Obi has conducted himself very well in the course of this and condemned actions at certain times when it came down to it. So I do believe that he should be fair and should be more in support of promoting
the idea really is that the Obidients are just young Nigerians that are looking for a new wave of good governance. So they are not just supporters of Peter Obi. They really are supporters of Nigeria, wanting good governance. Well, all right, we'll take another story.
Glad you watched this video to this point. Now, I want to talk about the dangers of all these old folks in Nigeria. This class of Tinubu, Wole Soyinka, all these gowon, old people. You see, the first person that developed, the first generation of computer, they call it abacus. A system of counting where you will be putting things in this one to collect data. They call the person a genius. He was a professor. But the person is not as smart as someone who produced the first telephone, which is big as room. And the first person who produced the first telephone, he was called a professor, a genius. But the person is not smart like the person who produced a smartphone. So what I'm trying to say is that Nigeria today is not smart. Nigeria today is not progressing, not because we don't have human and the material resources. I mean the gift of God that God gave us, talking about the oil, the gold, the iron ore, and so on and so forth. We have all these natural resources. Now, the problem there is that we are being led, we are like lions that are being led by sheep. We can never defeat even dogs, talk less of our fellow lions. This world is a competition. Each countries are doing competition to prosper. So if we are being led by a sheep or a goat, there is no how those lions could defeat other sheep that are being led by a lion. So it is all about the mindset and the character of a leader that we have. If Nigeria, as we call it, the giant of Africa, refuse to change their leadership, age, mentality. It's not all about age anyway. It's all about old mentality, because there's also young people who have already carried this people mentality. And whenever we talk about all these things, they will be against us. Stop talking in this manner. Stop talking, because they have the mentality of these old ones. Because without them giving them money, they can't feed. And they don't know their right to life. It is so unfortunate anyway. Let me know what you think. The battle to survive in Nigeria, either Nigeria being together or not being together, is a battle of no retreat, no surrender. Let me know what you think about this video. Please kindly share this video, subscribe to this channel, and always come back for the new updates. Thank you.